Hey Harmonizers, welcome to our final video in Florida. I can't believe that this is our last day here. I've got Elysia with me. We just had a really good day at the beach yesterday. I'm super proud of her. And I don't want to do a whole ton with her today, but we are headed to the Horse World Expo in Pennsylvania. And so we need to have a little bit of a routine. We're planning to do a 5-minute freestyle with Melissa Ellis, who's also a Harmony horsemanship instructor, and we're going to be doing a routine with the tarp. And I don't have anybody here to manhandle the tarp, and I know she's pretty comfortable with tarps, so I'm not too worried about that, but just kind of going through the motions of what that routine is and seeing if I can get her comfortable over the tiny little jumps, because we're hoping to jump one of the little jumps and do the tarp at the same time. So we need to have a little bit more comfortable piece with that. So I'm not going to work her super hard, but we're going to have a little bit of fun and see if we can put together a little bit of stuff for this coming week. She's got no idea that she's going to be heading back to the cold. I'm sorry, sweetie. Anyways, enjoy, guys.
All right, so here we go with Elysia with a little bit of groundwork showing you a little thing that we're working on. So we're going to be doing this routine with Melissa Ellis, who's from Vermont, who also does harmony horsemanship. And we're practicing a little bit of our sideways away and our sideways towards. One of the things when you're putting together a freestyle and you only have a 5-minute routine, you need to do things that are pretty easy for your horse. And so we're exploring like what works and what doesn't, because if she doesn't understand something and I ask for it, we don't have a lot of time in the ring to fix it. But even more importantly, when you're doing a demo with somebody else, you can't really just go to plan B. Like when I have Valente in the ring, I have a little bit more flexibility, because if he struggles with something, I can plan and readjust and try to fix it. Whereas when you're riding with somebody else, you still have to make it look like it flows with the other person. So her sideways away and a sideways towards are looking pretty decent, that I feel comfortable trying to match that with somebody else and doing it in front of a crowd. And then getting on her, she's been super stellar, and that's something that I really want to make sure that is well practiced, and I feel super confident, because if we're starting with groundwork and then we go to get on, and if she does something silly or doesn't let me get on or is too fidgety, then that's not going to be a great thing to do in front of a crowd, but also not a good thing to do for my horse if I'm not able to have the opportunity to fix it or help her with it as well. But I'm feeling really confident. She lets me get on her really, really easily, so that's looking really nice. So here's a little look at our riding. So the good news is that our right lead canter is coming so much better. So here's a little look at our right lead canter, and you can see that that's going really, really well. She picking it up a lot easier. She did get it wrong, I think, once during our ride, but for the most part, she's picking it up. She's holding it. It is very difficult to get her to canter. She is not a super easy horse to canter on. She's pretty lazy. And that could be part of it, is some stiffness in her body still from being a racehorse. And she does have some kind of little twitches that go on her right side of her back that we massage out of her, but they're kind of reoccurring. They keep coming back. So it's going to take a little bit of time before that gets a lot better. I apologize. My voice is a little bit kind of raspy. But anyways, she's doing pretty good with that. Now, one of the other things that we wanted to do in our demo is a jump. And so I wanted to try a little jump. Now, this is baby horse. She's only turning 3 this year. So as you can see, these jumps are itty bitty tiny. They're basically like raised poles. And it's more about teaching her how to place her feet than anything else. I definitely am a huge advocate for not pushing horses too much when they're young. And so I mostly do a lot of groundwork with her, and then my rides are very short. And when we do jumps, they're really little, and I'm definitely not pushing her beyond what she's capable of doing. And we won't be doing anything sizable in jumps or anything like that until she's cleared by a vet that her knees have closed and that her growth plates are looking really good. So as you can see, jumping is not really her strongest suit. I mean, she's pretty willing. She'll go, but it's pretty clumsy. Sometimes she hits the rail. Sometimes she gets pretty crooked going in. So I'm not feeling confident about jumping her as part of a routine with somebody else in front of a crowd. I feel like there's a pretty decent chance that she could hit the rail. One of the other things that we have to think about when we get to Horse World Expo is that there is no warm-up ring. You warm up your horse in the morning or at night, like in terms of practicing your routines, and then for warming up, you can walk around, like you can ride your horse walking around, but there isn't really anywhere. You could kind of trot maybe in the aisleway if there aren't a lot of horses on the shavings area, but for the most part, you basically just can take your horse for a walk. So I don't think she's ready to go from like just walking around in the aisle to doing a little bit of a routine and then hopping over a jump. I did play around with trotting jumps and cantering jumps. She can do them. Like that was a pretty decent jump. She trotted into it and she picked up her canter coming out of it, and I really liked that. That was pretty nice. And then here's a look at cantering a jump and see how sticky it is, and then she kind of trots afterwards because she's just not confident in herself yet. And there, like, she leaves it up, but it's just kind of messy. So you have to think to yourself, do you want to show that in a crowd, and do you want to risk that with a whole bunch of other people watching while you're also trying to match another rider and be part of a routine? So I don't think that's fair to the horse to put her in a place to do that. So we're not going to be jumping in front of anybody at Horse World Expo. She's got lots of time to get more comfortable with different things. There's no reason to push her to do that. And it just depends on the horse. Like Fairly and Mystique both picked up jumping super quickly. They just snapped their knees up and had lots of natural flow and momentum. And then some horses, they don't get it right away. I'll never forget Cupid, who was one of my first OTDBs for the Thoroughbred makeover. His registered name was Lions of Wall Street, and it literally took him about 20 minutes to figure out how to walk over a pole. And he turned out to be great. He could do, jumping bounces and everything. So just because they don't get it right away in the beginning doesn't mean they're not going to be able to jump well. So we really won't know too much about Elysia's future until I get her muscles more comfortable and we get more practice over poles and teaching her how to place her feet, and until we can pick up her go button a little bit more. So I would love to hear what you guys think about how she's doing. I'm pretty excited for just how chill she's seeming and just how things are going. So anyways, I'm sad to be leaving Florida, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys at the Horse World Expo.